Hi, everybody. This is Ray, otherwise known as Life and Vibe. And I am so excited to see everybody and have everybody here tonight live with me. I'm going to try to see if I can get all this. Here we go. Hi, chat's open to everybody. Hi. Um, I. I've no idea. Hi, Nia. Come on in. At what point will YouTube cancel his channel? I have no idea because I wanted to I wasn't planning to go live tonight. I was planning just to have a nice little cuddle with my pup Junebug, who's just got off the couch, and I had got off of work this afternoon, and I had noticed that our good friend Sarasota Tim had not been active since his chats in the morning. He was obviously doing a crushing it for Christ. That he was obviously pointed probably partly at his friends, partly at me, probably partly at Atomic Stage for not getting his strike. Now, I can't say I did a lot of stuff in fair use. Squirrel Bait Parody says he needs to be reported for mass flagging. Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the things that I'm hoping, and you'll see within the cease and desist that I will be sharing with you guys tonight. And if we do have time, we'll see if we take a look at Mr. Baker's. It depends how long we talk about the cease and desist. Chris says Tim just posted a video buying a new shirts because he's allegedly lost 5 pounds. Well, it's funny because I feel that when Tim gets really stressed, he shops more than ever. And I don't think his videos are getting like huge numbers of views today. And I feel he's definitely not happy probably because I also hosted the fundraiser. And I'm going to be very excited to share with everybody how much was raised because we did remarkably well. So I'm still waiting for everything to be calculated and that the end of the month totals to come in. So unfortunately, we're at the beginning of June. So it's going to see, luckily, June's a 30-day month. But then I'll be able to let everybody know right at the end of the month because we've also had money come in through Buy Me a Coffee. And I don't know if anybody saw, but let me share this page real fast and then we'll get over to the cease and desist. And I'm going to show what my attorney and Tim has obviously decided that he does not care about what is in a cease and desist, which I'm not surprised. We knew that. So we kind of knew that was going to happen. Oh, goodness. I just lost my train of thought. I told you I was tired tonight. I was going to share something. God, what was I going to share? Hi, everybody. I'm going to say hi. My goodness, I was just going to share something real quick. I can't believe I just lost my train of thought that way. Was it something on Tim's page I wanted to share? I doubt that. Oh, my goodness. Remind me, what was I going to share? Goodness, was somebody listening to me? Because I suddenly lost my train of thought. Hey, you're coming in. I am so sorry. Suddenly was going to show something on a video, and then I suddenly just lost completely when I looked at something that somebody else had said, and I thought about something else. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. Oh, Chris Lauer, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. I can't even remember. Yeah, I'm going to show the cease and desist. Was it a recipe? I can't even remember now. I was going to show something. Oh, Lord. I need to write stuff down. I used to have a pen and paper. I just had something come to mind. No, I'm going to definitely show the cease and desist, Irish. I'm definitely showing the cease and desist. Now thank you, Chris, for becoming a member. I'm excited. Thank you. No, I was going to share something from the community. From the community. It was something from the community. Oh, now I know. Thank you. I've suddenly remembered. Thank you. I came back. It was such a random thought, but let me show that. Okay. So it was on this one. So it was to do with the fundraising. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'll share this tab now. Okay. Okay. It's always funny. Okay. Let me see. All right. So let me share the screen. Okay, thank you. I suddenly was like, oh, that's what I wanted to show. This is partly probably why Tim is not happy. And it was to do with the fundraising. So everybody and anybody who goes back and still takes a look at this specific video, what has Tim been up to now? Well, up to now, he's striking my channel again for the 4th time. So anything raised on this channel tonight is definitely going to the Legal Defense Fund. And obviously, we're going to go to the next stage of legal actions. I had to send Tim a counter notification again today. So we're in that loop. And he's obviously not going to be able to show to YouTube that he has any type of copyright or taking any type of actual legal action against me. So YouTube, it's just going to go through this song and dance persistently until YouTube either demonetizes or flags him. So it's starting to work because Atomic Sage at least got a flag through it this time. I might have been more blazing and blatant with my content under fair use because I think it was one of my little video clips where I speed up his voice. And I still make commentary. It's not always content. I put a title on it. So anyway, so it was this video. If you go here and watch this, but this, I wanted to let everybody know that from the live, and I did pin this one, but if you hadn't had a chance to see, Bev and I would like to personally thank Johnny Vegas and also California Steve for their very generous donations of $100 each to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So they made their donations directly. And so I will count that as kind of part of the money raised, because I did also say, and I know others did this, and directly to the organization, which is great. And I have no problem with that. It was just all to be, obviously we were doing this for this organization because Bev Bianca herself is with her own fight with breast cancer and is having her own treatments, and obviously is interested in anything that's to do with research and furthering the medical treatments and things that we're able to do to help patients who find themselves having to face this really, really quite awful disease. And so they wanted to make sure that we all knew that they were both aware of the fundraiser set up by Ray and really the Life and Vibe community, and wanted to show Bev their support and prayers. And so that was that. And then obviously, and somebody said, how much has Tim donated? And then, obviously the rest of us would be a little bit nicer. So yeah, I just wanted to, share that and share that we did obviously get a chance to kind of take care of that as well. So that was awesome, guys. And like I said, I'm going to let everybody know soon exactly how much. Oh, well, oh my gosh, let me make sure I get all these gifts that have come in. Let me make sure. Comp Man, I am going to definitely give that one a heart. Let me share this. Let me make sure I can find these because I'm on this live stream thing. So let me make sure that I'm getting things that are pinned. It's something dinged me. No, don't do it like that. Hold on. Let me see if I saw everybody's supers come in. So let me make sure I share these. I am so sorry, guys. This is where I'm so unfamiliar with the stuff with these on One Life. So I am so sorry because I can see them, and for some reason I can't share them from the other channel, and I can see it. So I want to make sure that I thank everybody for the supers that they sent, and because there were some very generous ones here. Comp Man, thank you so much for yours. Barbie, here we are. Oh, it's Barbie said we are going to share something from my attorney. Yes, I am, and I am going to do that. So let me make sure I thank everyone. I am so sorry for everyone who sent me something that was really generous. Why am I not seeing this? Here we go. Vicky, thank you, Vicky Lynn. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That was very kind and generous of you. I really appreciate that. Let me get to Chris. I know I saw him, and Lori sent a life and vibe gift. And Comp Man was very generous, and I want to make sure I show there. So let me bring up the cease and desist so I can thank Comp Man, because that's going to actually go towards the legal defense funds. So Comp Man, if I did not get you, let me make sure that you know I am saying thank you. And I know people are going to get irritated. So let me bring up the cease and desist, and then I'll look through the chat and make sure I get everybody up here. Okay, so let me share this cease and desist. Let's just get in here. I know our friend Cole will be interested in this. So obviously I'm going to try to hide my Mr. Baker's home address and stuff, because obviously I knew where he was located. And obviously you're gonna see my last name and stuff, and whatever. I think I've shared it before. So this is the cease and desist. So let me share this. And I do want to thank everybody who's been so kind to share and share it for the fun. So let me share this out. Okay, this is pretty long, guys. So we'll read through this, and what we'll do, let me see, how does it look like on screen? Because maybe hopefully everybody can see it pretty good. If not, here we go. Let's do it this way. There we go. Is that better? Is that a better way? Let me make sure so I want to make sure I get this as well. So I'm going to start trying to read through this, and then trying to read through this and make sure I get this one super that was sent through. So here we go. Thank you. So he says, thank you for everything you do. Please take yourself out to dinner. Well, that's so nice. I was about to say my attorney is probably going to be taking themselves out to dinner, but maybe I'll do that instead. I appreciate that so much. That's really kind of you. Thank you guys for everything. And like I was saying to Sammy, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. Like, these things don't show up the same way on one stream as they do on StreamYard. Makes it way more apparent. I don't know if there's a way to filter stuff. I'm very kind of not great on this. But I had to choose this one tonight because I ran out of my StreamYard time. So I do apologize. But this one, what's JJ's channel called? Was he on a new channel? I know he had the Crushing It channel, and I'm not sure of what the new one is. The only one that I'm familiar with is the @Crushing It channel. And so if JJ's there, they can let anybody know. Jay must have really ticked him off. Oh, I think I really ticked him off. So this was sent originally to Tim. And I know it's a cease and desist, but it really does sort of say, hey, this is your chance. This is kind of like a legal, warning that, next time, something other is going to come down the pipeline. This is like the forewarning to something. And usually in most of this world, it's usually somebody is obviously, it's usually somebody like Tim would be sending me the cease and desist. That's how it usually goes. It usually goes that the creator, like myself, is the person who is receiving the cease and desist for making the commentary on the creator, not the creator receiving the cease and desist from the commentator. The only time is supposedly, I think Ethan Klein did that. So it does happen. And one of the things about YouTube, and I think you have to come in with a pretty thick skin, and you have to come in understanding that you could possibly be facing some legal stuff, especially when you're making commentary. And especially when you get somebody like Tim, who's definitely going to start to misuse the YouTube copyright removal system. And the difficulty is that, if anyone's seen Atomic Sage's video, they very clearly pointed out, and it's probably listed by my attorney, that you can lose your channel for falsely making copyright claims against other creators. At some point, YouTube is going to finally, I don't know how many times Tim has to. The difficulty is that Tim often strikes channels and people don't go for the counter notification. And so when people don't want to submit that, and I will let you know that there is something that allows you to just submit it as an email through your email address, where you don't have to submit all of those names and stuff if you don't want to, and you just want to put something into the body and you don't want to do it through the other way. You just have to make sure that the language of the other part is included if you're going to do it through the email system. But there are ways that you don't have to make a counter notification and include your name, address, phone number. There are ways. I guess, if you're using your YouTube email address, it's probably under something like mine, the Life and Vibe, which isn't really using my own full name. But this has my full name in it. So anyway, let me make sure I'm keeping up. I'm sorry if I'm horrible with the chat. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Birdie, Dr. Falcon, Lee, Flat Pat, all of you. I'm going to make sure I highlight you. You know I'm terrible with the one stream. So let me read some of this out and make sure that I know I said hey and thank you to Miss Vicky. Thank you. And I know you guys have been awesome supporters of the channel. Okay, let me start reading some of the cease and desist. But I wanted to make sure, because this thing doesn't show me stuff like it does with, I'm not going to keep complaining. I sound like Tim soon. Tim's content's been dreadful. I don't even know what he put out today. He struck me later on in the day. So maybe he saw that my videos are getting more than his. But I did want to thank Johnny Vegas and Timmy for also making that contribution. That was awesome. So now we've got Johnny Vegas, guys. We've got Timmy, California Timmy. I believe it was it California Timmy? Did I read that right? Or was that California Steve? It was California Steve. Sorry. California Steve. Sorry, Jay. I got that wrong with the email earlier. I don't know what I'm reading. I'm sorry. I'm really off today. I'm tired from everything this weekend. And then obviously I'm like, oh gosh, now I got to deal with Tim again. But here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start reading this out. So it says, read Life and Vibe YouTube channel and copyright removal request counter notification. And I can let you know, this is only sent on the 11th of April. So we're not even 2 months out from Tim's legal hand slap. It says, Dear Mr. Baker, this firm represents me, the owner and operator of the Life and Vibe YouTube channel. And so this is their client, and I will be referred to as the client from here on out because I can't say my own last name like that. I'll just say me. How about that? We write on behalf of me, or Ms. Blair, in response to ongoing actions you have taken against Ms. Blair and her channel that violate YouTube's terms of service. It violate YouTube's terms of service. So I will give, and this is just, I technically, I guess, could sit down and decipher all of this out and send it to YouTube legal. But I feel that if I send it through an attorney, somebody has to be a human at some point at YouTube and has to take a look at these and, get in touch with them rather than it coming from me. Because I have been told I could have done this a while back ago. And I had chosen not to do it because Tim seemed to be not striking my channel and striking out so much. But then, obviously, as we continue to make commentary and as his views fall, and now his friends, his previous friends who are now really friends in our community, are like speaking out against Tim. And so, have you the longer walks? Well, he's probably scared that he will be spotted and taken photos and having the Sarasota in the Wild section on my videos where we find him and Tammy. Oh, Lee, thank you, Lee. Thank you. I for sending those to our great friend Jay. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so anyway, we'll keep going on. And I'll hope, and I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up with this chat. This one looks weird. Oh, well, Jay's in the chat. So, and I'm sorry I haven't found you, Jay, but it's good to see you here. Here's Jay. Hey, Bev is on the mend. Oh, well, we are so happy to hear that. And thank you for whoever asked that question. I'm so glad to hear that she is on the mend. That's wonderful. And we'll have to let us know if, I mean, you don't have to, but we're hoping that the results from her other biopsies will be a way that she doesn't have to have too much in the way of treatments remaining. And it's just that. And Bertie, thank you. You were very generous. And I need to find yours too. I wish I could bring it up. Bertie said a bit more for the good fight. And I appreciate that. And Sam has already been a member for 1 month. And Beth came in as a new member. And let's celebrate their third super on a live stream. And for some reason, I'm going to go to the channel then. Does it let me do that? No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. Okay, let's keep going through this letter before I bore everybody to death. I was running out of time on StreamYard. Anyway, let's go back over here. That's why I'm on this one. Okay. So it says here, such actions have interfered with Ms. Blair's ability to monetize her channel, which is absolutely true, Tim, because obviously YouTube's going to think I'm toxic. And so they're going to not have my content go up the algorithm. And I do try to make other creators, Tim. But if you keep being so persistent in your behaviors with having no ability to be compassionate when somebody else is not well, and you didn't, for some reason, you don't have compassion for other people. You have a very large platform, and you could have done some real good in ways with your audience also to support it as your friend. I don't know what happens, not my business, but whatever it was, Tim, your true sides came out. Anyway, and giving rise to legal claims described herein. Accordingly, we must demand that you cease and desist from further actions. Well, I guess that didn't work. Including harassment of Ms. Blair and filing frivolous copyright removal complaints against her Life and Vibe channel and videos. But I know Tim had received this because he had some very telling Crushing It for Christ where he was complaining about attorneys. And Tim is somebody in the past, if we have time tonight, we'll bring it up, when he was very upset with hater channels and had a big old pity party and complained and wanted everybody to strike against hater channels. This is before I even came on the scene. So it was interesting to hear, and saying that he was going to hire an attorney. I guess this is his, just trying to BS everybody, and that he was going to take care of it, and he was going to, be this, that, and the other. And Bertie, I saw yours, and I'm going to just, for those, somebody shouted out for my legal fund. See, and it was Vicky Lynn. And so we are going to keep reading through this, but I did want to say I do appreciate everybody for having contributed, because it really does go to pay for this attorneys, and this really is the true cease and desist. Obviously, I can't write this. Okay, I can't write this, and so I wanted to say, Sam, we're so excited. She's already had a month. Bertie, a bit more for the good fight. He said, thank you, sir. I'm going to make sure I give everyone a hope. Dr. Falcon, you're so sweet. Again, he says, go get him, Ray. It's time to bring him down. Lee, if my mods are here, I don't know if my moderators are here, but if my moderators are able to highlight the super chats or super things on the screen, I don't know if I'm the only person. I should give everybody chats. She goes, Jay says she goes back on the 17th to meet with surgeon, and we should have a better idea on what treatment path she'll be taking, etc. Well, you let us know as much as you feel, and Beth is comfortable letting us know, because we're going to want to know, just because we're here. And I know that we have her on so many prayer lists at the moment, and we're just thinking of her and her recovery. And I just take this stuff with a grain of salt at all times, because it's a grain of sand. Sorry, gosh, you can tell I'm tired. I had a long day. I had to chase around a 2-year-old today. I'd been off for 3 days, so the first day back, I'm tired. So yeah, with a grain of sand, a pinch of salt. There we go. My goodness, Ray. So let me read back over to here, to my friend Flat Pat. You're so sweet, with a big old yay. Oh, Jay. Oh, Jay contributed to the legal defense fund. Well, Jay, you are so kind. Here we go. I got you. I gotta get some stuff. There's Dr. Falcon. I'm finally finding these things. Okay, that's awesome. And we're good. And I really appreciate it, because it will be going to my very nice attorney who writes this stuff. And so thank you, Flat Pad. And if I'm not getting everyone who's been a member, I am apologizing. Okay, let's get back over to this letter, and I will find the one from Jay. And I am so glad you're joining us tonight. And that, Jay had nothing absolutely to do with it. He didn't like him. Well, then you probably really didn't appreciate the time. Yeah. Yes. Well, and our good friend, this is an awesome one tonight. And of course, I'm running a terrible stream on this one line. Everyone hates when I use this one to live stream, but it's a Swedish company, and it's very reasonably priced at the basic level. And the videos come out pretty good. Well, I'm very close to running out on my StreamYard, so I have to do that. Tar Heel Forever says, oh, but I can do all this stuff. I highlight stuff. Jay, hopefully Timmy took you out to dinner several times. Jenny, for your generosity. Oh, gosh. Well, don't poke the bear like that, Tar Heels. You're going to poke the bear. Okay, let's get back over to this letter so we can maybe look at some Tim. Okay. Well, we know that he hasn't ceased nor desisted from my frivolous copyright strikes. As a registered nurse and graduate student, and yes, I still am a graduate student. Yes, I am. Miss Blair uses her Life and Vibe channel as a platform for educating and protecting viewers and vulnerable populations from risk of physical and or financial harm. Physical, because Tim, you give some very bad medical advice sometimes, so you have no idea what you're talking about. Very dangerous. And or financial harm. Your Social Security videos is what I'm referring to there, so. And your other things posed by the circulation of unqualified health and he loved this, and wellness content on social media. Through her Life and Vibe channel, Miss Blair curates her original content, commentary, and critique for her viewers' benefit and information. As the basis of such commentary, critique, and education, the videos on Ms. Blair's channels reference third-party materials made publicly available on YouTube, including content on your Sarasota Tim channel. I always wonder how much of this Tim actually understood. I know he knew he got it, because he was raging like on a crushing it for Christ. I don't think people understood that Tim's crushing it for Christ, or a thinly veiled attack on whichever content creator he's angry with at that moment. And it could be multiple of us at any given time. I certainly think I've bared a fair brunt of Tim's self-righteous sermons on Sundays. And I find it remarkable for somebody who really seems to not understand what Christian doctrine is, or being kind or compassionate or giving, or any of the things that Christ actually talked about. So and to assume that other people have no relationship with God and that you, sir, are the only one that does, you know what? You know what I'm going to have to do for that? And you know exactly who's going to have to come out. You know it. You know it. I'm going to have to bring out our good friend over here because Tim, you know, he's always watching you too. And they're going to come on in. They're coming in. Hold on. Why are they don't like it that way? Do I have to do this? Maybe I have to do this. Hold on. Maybe I have to do this to add to the stream. They're not letting me add Jesus to the stream for some reason. I don't know why. Here we go. There he is. Tim, you know that Jesus saw that too. Jesus saw that too. And they're seeing what you're doing. So just wanted to say. All right, we're going to take them off because I know the other way was better while we read the letter. But they'll be back. Okay. All right. Let me get back to this letter because we've got more to say, and I'm going to find Jay's thing. And so we'll keep going. We're going to keep going. Got multiple tabs open. Here we go. And now we have more. We recently learned that you have submitted multiple copyright removal requests and strikes against the Life and Vibe channel. And yes, you are seeing at the bottom the name of my attorney's firm. So this is a legitimate letter that was sent out. So I did. You love that you saw that image. It's my favorite. It's currently absolutely my favorite. Because yes, they do see that. Mind you of the Genesis song, Jesus, He Knows Me, the band of the Bible. Yes. That's what I thought. But both were relevant to each other in that statement. So yeah, he's watching. And he's watching the fact that I have to also put in, oh, you're going out. I know you're in the UK, but thank you. Thank you for being a month member, Sam. That's exciting. Congratulations. I'm excited. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Abriana says ST has been spraying on his narcissistic cologne the last few days. He's oh yes, that's right. He's been watching your channel. Can't wait until he gets shut down. Oh my goodness. And the thing, I know he actually has a cologne called Narcissist. It's so just wild. So, okay. So again, strikes against Life and Vibe channel, alleging that Miss Blair's videos violate your copyrights in certain videos published on your Sarasota channel without providing substantive evidence of copyright infringement. Miss Blair, no, because he doesn't. Not even in where he's requesting the removal. He just puts a timestamp in the name of the video. It's not really saying, that doesn't hold any legal water, Tim. Miss Blair's alleged infringing videos do not, in fact, infringe, but rather make fair use of your content under applicable law. Upon information and belief, you and those acting in concert with you have filed such copyright removal requests in response to your displeasure with Miss Blair's commentary and criticism of your videos. Now, the only person that I mention in this is Chris Google Maps. He's the only one. And Tim actually, and the reason being is that he is the one that Tim had very clear videos where he talked about Chris helping with, removing channels and this, that, and the other. So Chris is the only one that was implicated. I have implicated nobody else in this. And the only other part is where Tim obviously literally was on his channel telling his subscribers and audience and followers to, hit the dots and report channels and this, that, and the other with no reason to report, just telling them to do so. So that was more what this is referring to, just to clarify. So you'll see that anyway. So nobody, I just don't want to, because we obviously have Jay in the chat, and Jay is part of this community, and so I don't want anyone to think that I ever thought that he was involved in this. I have never. My whole thought always was really behind, Mr. Baker, and I always said that. And then the next instigator would be Tammy, and then the next one, Chris Google Maps. just for inciting him at all times. Whoever Chris Google Maps is, it could just be Tim's sock account. Who knows? Could be Tim inciting Tim. Anyway, so and that would be a problem on YouTube, Tim, on as well, if you had all these socks running around. Okay. Upon information and belief, you and those acting in concert with you have filed such copyright removal requests in response to your displeasure with Miss Blair's commentary and criticism of your videos. Such actions violate YouTube's terms of service and give rise to claims under applicable law. See e.g. a screenshot of YouTube's terms of service attached hereto as Exhibit A. Your copyright removal requests have caused and continue to harm Miss Blair in the following ways. So let's go over down to Exhibit A then. Here's Exhibit A, and this is YouTube's terms of service, and it literally gives an idea about what you can do, about all the my attorney literally sent him YouTube terms of service, and so your right to monetize and how YouTube grants this, all the things to do with, all of that. So that was Exhibit A, was literally everything to do with Tim's needing to understand what that was. Okay. So next, first, Ms. Blair must use her time and resources to prepare and submit counter notifications to defend against her fair use of your Sarasota Tim video content, causing her to incur legal fees, which this community is very generous and kind, and because you're so awesome and you do support this channel so much, and kind of like this cause, which is kind of like you're gonna get some really people who don't. I mean, I think there's some creators like I said, I have people who make commentary against me, and they probably use my content. Do you think I'm out there like watching and then striking? No, I think I just understand how YouTube works, and I obviously am making commentary and criticizing Tim for what he does. And so and especially when I think he's doing like fake medical stories and stuff. And so I think because of the more I make commentary around, it's he doesn't like it. He obviously doesn't like it, but that's kind of what happens. You can't think that you're going to come onto a platform like YouTube, show some really problematic behaviors like going naked in the refrigerator, and anticipate that people aren't suddenly going to start looking at you a little bit more closely, especially with that Social Security. And then when you start to hear about how you deleted people's comments, and then it just became a litany of things, and then how you just got striking on other people's channels, and and it happens. It's kind of how YouTube works. But I'm somebody, I worked hard for this channel. I'm not going to bend to how I make content because Mr. Baker doesn't understand fair use. Like this video is like really me talking. A lot of times people do sometimes wonder, like, why do I interrupt his stuff or put commentary in? Because I have to do things under fair use. That's why. It has to literally come under fair use. It has to. It has to. Okay, I want to try to find Jay's donation here where I'm not also reading. I'm not sure what's happening with this chat. Oh, yes. I'm sure that you are the turncoat that he refers to, Jay. I'm sad to say. I do believe that is where has Chris Google Maps been? Oh, he's been up in my chat. Don't you worry. He just comes under a name like Pittsburgh Chris Google. That's the name that he comes in under now, is Pittsburgh Chris Google. That's his new name. So that's the name. I'm trying to find Jay's super that you sent me that was so kind and generous, and I'm having the hardest time. But Jay, thank you for that generosity. And you know that Tim would see it and be irritated, which is why I'm trying to find it. But he would see it in the chat too, and I'm sure he could come along and double checks all that. I don't know. This thing's acting weird. So We're gonna roll down. So I apologize for that. It's kind of you're talking about his moves. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna go. It says here we're gonna show. Oh, Exhibit B was the counter notification. So let's see. There's gonna be some pages before we get to the counter. Here's Exhibit B. So this was the counter notification that was sent to Mr. Tim. Then this was what was sent to through YouTube. And then when I had to do a counter notification today, I reworked this language and then I just sent it through their email system. Because I know a lot of this legal statements YouTube requires when submitting the copyright notification. So if you're going to do it through a email system where you do not, so I'm letting small creators know this is something that is going to help anybody who is a small creator who happens to watch me. I'm giving you some information about how you may be able to submit how you can submit a counter notification without having to list your name and phone number. So what you would need to do is get into the YouTube studio and click into where it says you have a copyright strike and hit the box where it says you want to do a counter notification. Now, it will show this screen where you are needing to list all of your details. But if you actually take the time to read the paragraph above it, it will tell you how you can submit to their email if you do not feel comfortable submitting your name and address and phone number, all your personal details. But what you will be required is to make sure that this language that you won't see unless you go through that first part, you won't see that language. But you have to have this language for this copyright counter notification, this consent to the jurisdiction of the federal district court, and the part where you swear to penalty of perjury. And I think it even is there somewhere potentially when you're filling it out. But as long as you state these things and you say whatever you're doing is under the Fair Use Act, and I always mention what that Fair Use Act is, which is under United States Copyright Act of 1976, see Section 17 USC 107, Section 107, Section 107, Section 107, and you list that, then you should be able to then file a legal copyright notification without concern, and then the person has to respond. YouTube reviews it, make sure that that's kosher, and then they will send it on to the creator who levied the strike against you, and then they have 10 business days to respond, showing that they have actually taken legal action against you. And most of the time, if it's Sarasota Tim, he's not taking legal action. So generally, your video will be restored and your strike will be removed. That's kind of how that works. All right, let me see if I can keep up with the chat. I'm so sorry about me being so dry on this chat here. Vicky says Tim doesn't need a legitimate excuse to buy cheap Bollywood. Oh gosh, I know, and I would say he's definitely like shopping therapy. Tim struck my channel. My mind goes to, okay, let me file a counter notification, and I'm going to do it through the email system now, so I don't have to supply my name and address and phone number again for him. I'm going to then obviously contact my attorney, because they have let me know that they hadn't heard from Tim through the cease and desist, which he was asked to do, and therefore, what did they want me to do? And I said at the time, well, we'll just hold off and see if he just, kind of leaves my channel alone and doesn't strike me. And then I guess with the fundraiser, and that the strike at Atomic Stages channel and everything else didn't probably go to plan, and just all of it, I think Tim had enough from us reaction / hater channels, and decided to strike me. Yeah, he just had too much. It was too much for him. And so instead of me shopping, I just took my dog for a nice walk, organized a live stream, and did some legal stuff. And that was after I came home from my prison job. All right, let me go with this letter. So that was Exhibit B. And all of these things just to show that Tim is just, taking advantage. He's been pretty lucky, but I'm just like, now I really have to, keep going on. Okay, so the threat of your frivolous strikes erroneously resulting in the termination of her Life and Vibe channel. Yeah, it will. And damaging her ability to monetize the same are substantial. Absolutely. Because I'm sure every time I get struck, YouTube stops promoting my content out the algorithm. So if you're coming into this live stream tonight, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And, I think you have to subscribe to be in the chat. But if you're watching and you want to chat, just subscribe. It's free. It really is free. I know it's called subscribing, which I think is odd because most other social media platforms, a subscription is a monetary cost, and that's not the case. It just means that you're subscribing to be notified in your feed about the channel, and we get 3 of those that we can put on you a day. Whether it's a video we just released or something. And so that's kind of what subscribing means. To be part of my community and actually pay, that's the good life, and that's $2.99 a month. And if Tim stops doing nonsense, I'll be able to make my members only content and do my video editing. Okay, back to the letter, because it's long. And I talk too much. Okay. As your submission of frivolous copyright removal requests and Ms. Blair's need to respond to them have continued, as it has today, and because you have encouraged your viewers to harass Ms. Blair, which they have done, okay, because he certainly has had, he certainly doesn't stop people from coming after me. That's for sure. I tell people to not even look at Tim's content. They can watch them through me. Miss Blair, it's really Chris Google Maps. Miss Blair felt compelled to engage our firm. Second, Miss Blair and her Life and Vibe channel have suffered reputational damage. Absolutely. As each of your and your subscribers' retaliatory strikes replace her video content with a message stating that this video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Sarasota Tim. Such messaging implies that Life and Vibe has violated your copyrights when that is not the case. Your strikes have also negatively impacted the Life and Vibe channel's visibility and algorithm, thereby affecting and jeopardizing Ms. Blair's ability to monetize her Life and Vibe content. And then here, we once again, I think anybody who's watched my channel has seen before all of the areas around fair use. So I'm not going to labor a dead horse here with the fair use statements. Though I know Chris Google Maps loves that part. Lee says, narcissist Tim thinks his boring life is interesting content. What a doofus. Yeah. And then I don't know, did he accidentally upload the wrong video? Because I want to say he had a video which showed him standing in the kitchen, but then strangely the video was like him getting shoelaces and then buying, I guess, those new Nikes. So I guess he uploaded an old video again. And then I was like, what? And then I saw that he corrected it. So I have no idea what Tim up to. Because I was like, what is going on? I don't know. When did he strike my channel? Today. Today. Sometime this afternoon, I guess. Probably when we didn't see him. Because He's just boiling up inside. He's so mad. He's so mad. He's not happy. Can you start a petition to says, can you start a petition to provide to YouTube to have his channel removed or at least demonetized? I don't know if that would work. YouTube is really hard, especially when you're a small channel. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Which video? It was some video about him getting a Scooter's coffee. He usually, he always, is that, yeah. Okay. I'm sure it shows up somewhere as struck. So you can probably figure that one out. And I'm sure Tim looking at his cease and desist on the screen. And I'm fine. Everybody else shares legal stuff online. This one's been 2 months old now. I'm sure it's filed somewhere. I don't know, because this is a civil matter. But I did want to show to people, because everybody has contributed to help me obviously maintain my channel and to send Tim legal notifications. Finding these types of copyright attorneys, it's a very specialized area of the law. And so it's not easy to find these types of folks. And so it does take time. And so every time I know Tim never going to have the 10 days, Tim doesn't even want to pay to fix his windshield, guys. He doesn't want to pay to fix the windshield. I don't know what type of insurance policy he has, but it's a weird one. No, he did not strike my fundraiser video. He struck some video from like days ago, like a week or so ago. Some old video with him getting a Scooter's coffee. Literally a Scooter's coffee video. Some silly video. Why doesn't YouTube step in and give him 3 strikes? I have no idea. And he has struck so many channels. He just struck Atomic Sage, and they said it doesn't seem this is a fair copyright strike. And so they didn't allow it to go through. Probably because his content is far more animated than mine. He doesn't really use as much of his like visual content, say, as I do of Tim's, whereas I actually do like more traditional reacting to Tim and commentary and like watch the video and react. I mean, you got booted? How'd you get booted? I hope for not doing anything bad, Sammy. Dinger says, hey, Dinger, the floor, there's no clause to replace your windshield through your insurance. It's a state law. Cannot. Right. So we're going to go over that. So let me get through that letter, because Tim was trying to seem like he was trying to drum up like, yeah, he's a serial striker, Tommy T. Tim was trying, as always, to get potentially money out of people, because we spoke about this the other day about how, like, I guess it would be a minimal. I think in Virginia, the most they can do for a full replacement of the windshield is $100. And then if you use a company that isn't like the preferred vendor of the agent, we'll get into it. We'll get into that one, Dinger. You know what he was saying had to be BAs. Okay, here we go. This is where we get into this part about Chris Google Maps. Finally, your content has encouraged subscribers of Sarasota Tim to target and strike specific content published on the Life and Vibe channel in violation of YouTube's harassment and cyberbullying policies. Such policy expressly prohibit users from other things producing content that encourages abusive behavior like brigading. And he has one specifically about Chris Google Maps and giving it to the haters and all this stuff, you know, because I did show that one to my attorney. Brigading is when an individual encourages the coordinated abuse of an identifiable individual on or off YouTube. That's why I would never say a coordinated, like, yeah, I think you should strike Tim's channel. That's not anything that I would personally tell you to do. I will tell you how I will handle him, and you can tell me how you will handle him. I mean, I guess it's different, you know, because I'm the creator, so I have to be more cautious. Does that make sense about how I would tell people to do things? That's why I would only educate, like say things like, if you go into his videos, that's going to give him a watch. Because if you spend enough time and you go in, I mean, it's going to kind of not help if you're out within 30 seconds. That's going to help harm his algorithm. But going in and just giving a downvote, YouTube just sees that as engagement for the creator to know, no, I didn't like this video. But YouTube still sees that as engagement with a video. So they don't see it as negative or positive. So that's the sort of thing that I would say. I would never say, as Tim has done in the past, you need to hit the 3 dots and say don't recommend, or he's literally told people that you need to report these channels. If you see anybody who's copywriting my material, you need to report these channels, is what Tim has literally told his audience to do. And we have lots of videos of where he said that. And gosh, there's so many. He puts out 14 videos a day just almost to flood the market. So you can barely go back and find clips. That's why Darling does such a great job, because to find clips when you have a creator who puts out as much content as Tim, it's hard. Okay. So with that explained, it says, or an identifiable individual on or off YouTube seeing a screenshot of YouTube's harassment and cyberbullying policy attached here to is Exhibit C. So obviously this has got exhibits here, and this is where it could go ahead to YouTube's legal for them to look closer at some of the behaviors of his channel, because it shows a lot. And, I personally I would have to and I've started to work on trying to reword the letter that it's coming from me and not my attorney. But I would also like for an attorney, because then YouTube may have to make a response. I don't know. They don't seem to care about anything. But here is their harassment and cyberbullying policies and what all that was and how that could affect your monetization and so forth. And just anything. And obviously, Tim has literal videos saying these things, but it's almost impossible. YouTube is really not great at helping and supporting creators. Anybody who's been around YouTube for a long time knows it's like this is a huge behemoth of a company, and it's very difficult to get them to hear you as a small creator. Very difficult. And so I'm just having to suffer the world of a small creator. So anytime, like I say, anyone likes, comments, subscribes, watches my stuff, and I'm starting to slowly grow. We went over 3,800 subscribers, and I don't have time to advertise myself on Instagram or X or Facebook or anywhere. So I really don't do any cross social media marketing of my platform. And so just having you guys and having spread the word, I'm slowly creeping towards 4,000 subscribers. I would love to get to 5,000 subscribers at some point. 10,000 seems like a dream. Okay, so on information beneath, a Sarasota 10 subscriber with the username at Chris Google Maps, upon your encouragement, posted a comment on Ms. Blair's Life and Vibe video, suggesting that her video won't exist later, and stating that Ms. Blair's alleged use of your content made her fair game to be taken out. And see a screenshot of the comment and other potential harassment attached here too is Exhibit D. So this is the very intelligent man, Chris Google, who now goes as at Pitt Chris Google, something like that. He still shows up in my comment section and says, nah, you just, it's usually somebody just saying some if you see anybody, and usually I don't delete it. I just let it stay. It's engagement, They're smart. They'll not put it up if they are not. So this was Chris. That's when he had the at Chris Google Maps. And obviously part of that was cut off, obviously, because of the way It works on your phone. And I knew the moment I saw it, I was going to have to get it. And I was surprised it stayed up for 57 minutes. Lol, so much for your stupid fair use statement. You can talk crap all you want about the guy, but if you use his content, you're fair game to be taken out. Also, good luck reacting to videos that won't exist if you try to watch them later. Lol, you people are massive jokes. What a sad way to spend the holiday hating. And Mark Cooper Tatman said, hi, Christy, keep propping up a 66-year-old completely stranger. Yeah, nothing too creepy. And then somebody said about them, Timmy is that spending the holidays hating. Yeah, Timmy was more likely to be spending the holidays hating than I was. Okay, let me check my chat. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Chuck. ST Shutdown Fund, Junebug, Trader Joe's visit. Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm still trying to see the one from Jay, so I'm so sorry. This is a very strange chat that doesn't let me see. I don't know if my moderators are able to pin chats for me. Are you guys able to pin chats? Sammy? Are you able to pin chats for me so that I can see the supers that came in? Because they're hard for me to spot in this one live thing. They don't come up great. It's like I don't have a way to see them. I don't know, because then I can see at least what got pinned. I should have pinned them earlier, shouldn't I? I have no idea. But thank you. Thank you so much. Gosh. See, this is what happens when I start reading stuff. Well, thank you so much for that generosity. I appreciate that, Chuck. I would show it, and you know I would. Oh, here's Lee's stuff. AKA Pittsburgh Chris isn't the brightest tool in the shed, had the brightest light bulb. No, but he loves to still come in. So I kept telling him he was in the cease and desist. But at least I get to show him now. I guess he doesn't care. I guess he can go to YouTube too, because he's got a different name now. So then it goes on to say, further, due to your encouragement, your followers have attempted to share Miss Blair's personal information, which, if you remember, right after I believe I had the cease and desist sent to Tim. That was the moment my home address got suddenly revealed online. And Tim started to talk about wanting to come visit people in Virginia Beach. Was very shortly after this was sent to him. So he also, if you remember, they had put around, and Miss Vicky probably remembers this, they had put around the my channel, I think even on Miss Vicky's channel, that I had my home address, how much equity was in my condo, which kind of seemed like a flex for me. But all that information was put out there. So there was a lot of my information that was released. I had somebody asking like a creepy like it was real creepy, asking me, I want to know where you work. And, I work with a pediatric patient. So that's not creepy, is it? Asking me where I work. And it went all over the place. And so, yes, I did send that on to my attorney, but this cease and desist was kind of already in action at the time. And so she just kind of included it, but, it wasn't included in the exhibits at the time, but they were made aware of it all. Such contact, obviously, in addition to presenting significant concern to Ms. Blair for her safety. Absolutely. And obviously, there's still copies because I sent this to my attorney, so it's still held by them. And I ended up having to get a Ring camera and paying the $4.99 a month or whatever it is for my outside camera in order to make sure that, Mr. Baker doesn't come around my property, or Chris Google Maps, or any of the, folks that left messages for olive oil and stuff. And Chris is the one who likes to try to tell his audience that, we're all scorned women and stuff. No, Tim, I just happened to see your terrible Social Security videos. And then I happened to stumble across the fact one day I just happened to figure out, I was like, I wonder what happened to that dude, Sarasota Tim, because he seemed like he was kind of weird. And I suddenly realized that you had all that stuff out with you flashing yourself in your refrigerator. And I was like, oh, this is an interesting character. And I was kind of getting very sort of stressed with having to talk about somebody who was eating themselves while being like grossly diabetic. So it was like a change to Into the World of Tim. And it was a good response to the reaction videos. But Tim, obviously, people know Tim's a vicious one. And so, but I'm not scared of the fight. And I know it's harmed me in other ways on my channel, but that's okay. Stuff happens. But I've worked hard on this channel. I've had it for a while now. And I don't go to try to change the way I make my content to satisfy Tim. Because most of what I do is under fair use. And so that's why you get sometimes different videos in one video. And I just pick pieces of what I want to make commentary to. Because I do obviously want to keep within laws of fair use. And I still want to make commentary about Tim. So that's when I explain to people, because people are like, oh, you chat. Well, I need to be under fair use. So that's kind of, how that goes with all of that. So it's, just to explain. Let me make sure I give love hearts here to everybody. And thank yous. You guys are awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up. And I wish I could. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. You guys are very helpful, because we will be purchasing more attorney time, because I'm going to have to take whatever next steps my attorney wants to do at this point. And so we didn't lay it out quite here, but this was kind of the end of it. The above comment and surrounding comments from other users suggested a coordinated attack to petition the removal of Miss Blair's Life and Vibe content. Your copyright removal request or striking another intentional interference with the Life and Vibe channel clearly violates YouTube's harassment and cyberbullying policies, providing grounds for termination of your Sarasota Tim channel. And I know that there have been a lot of folks who have mentioned that they would not mind that taking place. What's happening says, oh, really? I thought he was making fun of haters who call him a narcissist. Oh, no. No. He's absolutely not making fun. He is I tell you, this Crushing It for Christ videos are very much directed at people that he thinks are going to stop him from his income stream. He does not live comfortably in a world where there are other people making commentary about him. He thinks we're jealous and we're just, he's, and the thing is, I've always said, if I didn't think you were a problematic person, I wouldn't make commentary. I don't make commentary about Bama Tom with his cats. I see lots of these, there are a lot of channels that have individuals who are at retirement age who make plenty of content. And the difference is they're not toting their constant expertise in areas they have no expertise in. They don't often talk about having any expertise. And if they do, they stick to the subject matter often. But Tim is an expert on everything. Absolutely an expert on everything. So, yes, once you've had a channel terminated, you cannot make another channel. And if you do, they get upset. And Jay says, I thought narcissists were proud to be one. The thing with narcissists is they do not really like to claim. Well, Tim might use the thing narcissist, like the cologne, and think that he's kind of getting one back. But I don't think he sees himself as a narcissist. Narcissists don't actually really believe they're that way. They don't perceive things in the same way that others do. So their sense of self-entitlement, their sense of grandiosity, often, they really are bored and they are unaware. They often are very unaware. But they do get called out on it enough that they become aware of it because of what others say. And they certainly aren't going to try to correct it because they don't like anybody telling them what to do. They don't like that. How dare they? They know better than everybody else. So they know better than anybody else. So they're not the narcissist. You know, they just think that they lack total self-awareness. And it's their false self that they're always, because their true self is very insecure, extremely insecure. So actually, by him trying to use that narcissist cologne, that's actually potentially showing his sort of lack of his esteem. You know, it's kind of like he's saying, yeah, look, I know I'm a narcissist, but in reality, he's very insecure, you know? So it's kind of, you know, it's interesting when you see them try it because he's trying to be in on the joke, but he really doesn't want the joke. He says, Squirrelbacks, you keep coming back and get terminated again. Yeah, you will. You're just going to go away. They'll take you out. And so you just have to keep fighting. My strikes keep disappearing. So every time I'm like back at 0. So I'm back at 1 of 3 again today. So because there's obviously the level of attention that could be drawn to somebody could make them uncomfortable. So because they know they're playing with fire a wee bit, because they know they don't actually ever follow up with any legal recourse. Okay, here's the end of this. And then we'll listen to Tim trying to get a lot of money for a windshield. Like, didn't make any sense, this conversation. So anybody else who understands, supposedly because he was trying to get original manufactured equipment, OME, rather than just what was supplied. I guess that was why. Anyway, the above comment and surrounding comments from other users suggest a coordinated attack to petition the removal of Ms. Blair's life and vibe content. Your copyright removal request or striking and other intentional interference with the life and vibe channel clearly violates. We talked about that part. Sorry. As stated above, such actions have caused actual damage to Ms. Blair, for which she may recover should we need to pursue legal action against you. Tim, I might need to recover my losses, sir, because of your frivolous copyright strikes. So I hope you are ready to go with that one, Tim. I hope so. Despite the foregoing, we are hopeful we may resolve this matter amicably. That's what we thought originally. And efficiently, so that our client may go on to enjoy the use of her YouTube channel and provide valuable content to viewers. Thus, we must demand that you will, 1, immediately and forever cease and desist from making frivolous and baseless copyright removal requests against the Life and Vibe channel, fair use of your or any other user's content. Retract to an extent possible your previous copyright removal requests made against the Life and Vibe channel to ensure that each strike is removed and the Life and Vibe channel's video content is restored, and acknowledge to the full extent possible that Ms. Blair has made a fair use of, you imagine Tim trying to admit to any of this, a fair use of your content under applicable copyright law and YouTube's policies, and last, immediately and forever cease and desist from encouraging your subscribers or any other person to strike, attack, harass, bully, threaten, cause harm to, or make baseless copyright removal requests against the Life and Vibe channel or Ms. Blair. Our client's taken considerable steps, yes I have, to resolve this matter. I've been taking steps to resolve this matter with Tim since, I think, when was it? November, December of last year. So this has been going on for like 6 months with Tim. So Tim and I have been, Tim has been upset, really upset with me now for 6 months. For 6 months now, I have been living, guys, in Sarasota's, you know, and I have like some rent-free living rent-free in Tim's brain for 6 months now. Probably longer. Sammy says, what is he doing? It is against terms of service. Yep, it absolutely is. Bertie says, yes, a shutdown live stream. What's a shutdown live stream? What happened? You should sue ST. Well, it's very expensive to start those types of suits, just to give you a heads up. I have been given ballpark figures, and obviously there's not much to recuperate when it comes to Tim. No, he's got a CC rider with a chip windshield. Yeah. Yes, I'm rent free. Stop taking crap from these channels, Timmy, big wuss, says Tammy. Yeah, that's what Tammy does say. Yeah, I'm rent free. Rent free in his mind. Absolutely. Ross says that's part of Tim's problem. He doesn't really understand the business of social media. Obviously, it would benefit him great to collab with Tater and go to courtside, but he couldn't figure it out. No, he couldn't. He couldn't figure it out, Ross. And he can't figure out to, yeah, I have lots of space in Tim's mind to read. There is a lot. How does Tammy stay so pale? I don't know, because Tim always wanted to go to the beach, Lance. I have no idea. Okay, so right at the end. Okay, so it says here, our client took those steps in the past. I took considerable steps to resolve this matter and respond to past copyright removal requests, which I did. I did in my own counter notifications requests, despite not having violated any of your copyrights. Thus, please let us have your written response, which obviously we never heard from Tim, confirming that you agree to the above, because he wasn't going to agree, because he still wants to strike me. So now, and thanks to everybody's generosity tonight, we are going, and I was going to continue anyway, but this is definitely going to help me continue to be able to this action. And just you guys watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, sitting through my ads, all that good stuff on the videos. That also helps, because obviously the monies that I earn, because I am still a monetized YouTube channel, he hasn't managed to take that away from me yet, enables me to keep these attorneys, because we don't want to have a social media world where people that are doing potentially nefarious things on the platform and on social media, we never get a chance as other creators to say, hey, hold on a second. I don't think what they're saying about this, medicine is right, or especially some of Tim's health stories are whack as heck. Or the fact that he can't support, friends and people who are managing the treatment with breast cancer. I mean, these are, and then he talks about Christianity and compassion. And I think that Timothy thinks he has his side of the story. And, but he's never going to be able to be anybody who's ever going to be able to express that, because he probably knows he's in the wrong. And so he just can be an angry, kind of petulant child. And this is what I'm dealing with, an angry, petulant child. And Tim's only way of expressing his anger and discontent, because he hasn't been able to get rid of me yet, is to strike against me all the time, especially after, we had the fantastic fundraiser and we really raised a lot of money. And I can't wait. Like I said, I want to wait till I get to the good total so I can let everyone know exactly how much was raised. But you already saw $200 right there from California Steve and from Johnny Vegas. So look at that. All right. So he was supposed to respond by April 18th. Okay. If you do not agree, or we do not hear from you, okay, and this is where we're at, because my attorneys did ask, we may recommend that our clients seek additional legal action, including a fuller investigation into your Sarasota Tim channel. And remember now that he just went after Atomic Sage, and related legal claims under applicable state and federal laws, and initiating a lawsuit based on the same. Was it worth it, Tim? Has this been worth it? Please note this letter is intended for settlement purposes only and is without prejudice to any of our clients' other rights. The admissibility of this letter in any future proceedings is governed by the Federal Rule of Evidence 408. Thank you very much, my lovely attorney. Let me not dox Tim's home address. So yeah, there we go. So thank you everybody, because that was the letter and that was everything. And I'm sorry, I'm askew. Askew is Tim's favorite word, Jay. What are you talking about? You should eschew Tim. You should eschew Tim's correspondences. Tim doesn't correspond. Oh, you just came out of work, Hazel? Hi, how you doing? You just got let out that prison job? Well, we got just a little bit time left, so we're going to go check out Tim's channels real fast and see what we can get in trouble with tonight, shall we? Now, I did listen to his terrible, oh my gosh, his terrible live stream with Crushing It for Christ, not live stream. His video. I told you I was not anticipating to go out. I was going to cuddle with the dog tonight. Luckily, this one cuts me short. Okay, so Tim's put out a whole new video. New carnivore body requires a new wardrobe. Crushing my credit. What's this? Do you think Tim's just crushing my credit card at BJ's? I thought Tim was debt free. Okay, guys. Let me do a poll. Okay, real quick. Let me do a poll. Okay, we're gonna do a poll. We're gonna look at one of these videos. Which video would you like to watch? And then we're gonna have just a minute to vote. We have two. So the choice is this one about the new wardrobe, or we can catch into the poll where Tim gives some dodgy numbers about the windshield price, where he starts talking about a lot of money. And Jesus will join us in the audience. So, okay. So, let me see. Okay. So, I'm going to give it a minute here. We got the new wardrobe is just popping off, man. I guess that wardrobe, Tim. Nobody wants to hear you complain about having to spend $1,800 on a windshield. How is it $1,800? How has Tim got the most expensive windshield ever? I have no idea what he does with the credit card in BJ's. BJ's. He went to BJ's and he's no longer debt free, I guess. He's no longer debt free. We got 49 votes. We got 50 votes. New wardrobe is winning. Oh, I got some. I can see I wish I could bring this over, and do something else. Now I am going to be doing something exciting for the summer. I'm going to be making, I hope, some postcards, some cute ones of Junebug, like a summer postcard. And we're going to start sending out these little postcards from Virginia Beach with Junebug on Virginia Beach, and sending it out to members and to people we randomly give them away to. Doesn't matter. We'll send them to any part of the world. But we're going to be sending postcards from Virginia Beach because it's summertime and we live in a resort city. So I'm excited because I can go to one of these little print, like, Walgreens or whatever. They do some nice stuff actually on all sorts of types of paper and all sorts of things. Make some nice postcards, and we'll send out some summer fun. Absolutely. Okay. So it seems like pretty much that new wardrobe is bringing it in. So we're just going to end the poll there. I appreciate everyone. We had 65 votes, so that's awesome. The new wardrobe seems to be winning. So let's just finish out tonight's live with Tim's new wardrobe, shall we? And then I wanted to obviously add my friend Jesus to the stream because he wants to remember and remind Tim to stop striking my channel. And I look forward to hearing what my attorney wants to do on the next steps. Gosh, I hope she doesn't say a lawsuit. These are expensive. We're talking a lot of money on a lawsuit. And I don't think I want to feel a lawsuit. These are expensive. I tell you, that's expensive. So I don't think I want to do that. I think we just do the next. I don't know. All right, guys. So here we are. Tim is hashtagging carnivore. I got some new t-shirts last night, some from Target too. It's probably the 3 t-shirts I will get this summer. And I felt like I was going nuts because I bought 3 t-shirts. I tell you, Tim's stress shopping. Hashtag carnivore. It's been up for 2 hours. Tim's got full of smiles because he struck my channel. So he's having his biggest pity party ever by going stress shopping over at BJ's on the credit card. Tim, we know you're stressed out. We know you're stressed out because you're stressed. You're shopping. Okay, let's take Tim at 1.5. Let's see how fast he goes. Take it away, Tim.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota, Tim. Man, I am on a shopping spree today, but very low-cost items. Check out this shirt. I got my sunglasses on. You need yours, too, to look at it. But wait a minute. That isn't it. That isn't all. You ready? Woo! We're here in Florida, baby. It's Vacation Tim. And I'm heading back to BJ's after I got home. They have no dressing rooms.
Vacation Tim? Isn't he supposed to be retired? How can you be on vacation, Tim, when you put out 15 videos a day? I mean, it's not hard work. The way I promise you, other than having to look tidy for the camera, that's about the hardest work it'll be. For a lady, it's more work because sometimes you feel like you got to do lipstick and makeup. So for a female creator, it might be slightly harder work because you want to look presentable. Tim just buys clothes all the time. I swear he uses it. I don't know. Just all right, take it away, Tim.
There, and you got to pick. It's kind of hard to know what will fit and what will fit right. I was there earlier. I made a video. I didn't post it. Show a couple things that I bought. Even a USA shirt for the 4th of July. A really bitchin' shirt. USA, all red, white, and blue on a navy shirt. Just gorgeous. All American. And I slid it on over my shirt. And, well, I didn't get it on. When I put my arms in, and I can tell my shoulders aren't going to be, no. And then if you wash it, it's just going to turn into a baby shirt. So, unfortunately, I couldn't get it. And then some of the other shirts I looked at, they weren't going to shrink at all, but they were too big as an extra large and too small as a large. These Chinese junks, you just got to pick. It's hard. But these shirts, look, pocket, baby, for my readers or anything. I love, man, why don't they put...
Seeing Tim at 1.5 is a treat. So rapidly quick. He's not this hyper usually. I just want to say. In Tim's defense, he usually talks very slowly.
Put pockets. So I'm heading back for 2 reasons. One, some of the shorts that I bought, well, one pair. Hell, man, they might as well be a bikini bottom. They're shorts. These are short, too. I'm not a real tall guy. And when you wear those shorts like a lot of guys do, they go to your knees, and you're not 6+. It makes you look a little dumpy.
Not a tall guy. Well, we've all been trying to work out your height. We're thinking you're around 5'8", Tim.
In my opinion, a little dwarfy. So, where are they? They're smart-looking shorts, but this particular brand is very, very short. I mean, they're shorter boxers I wear to bed. Here they are. And, the ones I've got on, as you can see, are loud too. But they're short. They're not down to the knee. That's what I like. But these are like ridiculous. So, I mean, I like them and I don't. They're a little bit too short. And these...
They seem a little youthful for Tim's age. I don't know. Maybe they wear them a little bit brighter in Florida. But, I mean, they wear them bright, but they'd be on a younger person here in Virginia Beach. Not so much on a gentleman of Tim's age. They'd be probably wearing something a little bit more monochromed.
These I noticed were a little more bloomy and a little more, you know, guyish than real short. So this is the brand I know I want. These are the shirts I know I want. Even though I bought a couple at Walmart today for $5 a piece. And
Vicky, you know he's absolutely watching you. And because Vicky doesn't put his content into her stuff like I just do. Like this. Bring it up for fair use. Make commentary for education purposes only, Tim. Don't run up credit cards to buy t-shirts. I don't know if Tim is baiting people by saying he's using a credit card, or is he, because remember he said he didn't use his credit card, so they were going to shut his credit cards down. I would think if you were a debt-free minimalist, you just would have shut the credit cards down anyway and just taken them down instead of having them there as a temptation for another line of credit. But Tim is never going to shut those lines of credit down. You must be joking. Absolutely never happening. And so Tim has to be using those cards again. But I wonder how great if Tim keeps losing views, because this video hasn't gotten very many views. It's not even 600 views in 2 hours, Tim. That's not great on a channel that supposedly has 67.6 thousand subscribers and is on its popping way to 100K.
And they're a drab steel blue and a graphite gray, which is fine. They go with most things. These, look at the neck. See how tight it is? It doesn't show all your skin like it's a big hole. A lot of things that I pay attention to. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go back to BJ's, and I'm literally going to get a couple of each. A couple. Yep. Even this one tan color that I saw that I like it, but when you sweat, you know, they kind of show the perspiration. This one will too, probably. Unlike a navy. But you know what? I'm going to get the tan one anyway, because it's a neutral color, and I'm going to get a couple of them. They're like $9. Your future.
Tim, why don't you just, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to just like some basic tees, I must admit, I'll just go to Target and get some of their basic tees. And I have to say, I've had some luck with some of their basic tees that have been, they didn't have them this year, but they had some that were like really good that, anyway, they'll last forever. So, I mean, it's a basic tee, but they'll last, you know, but they're not so expensive that, you know, if they need to be downgraded from wearing to the store to wearing to clean the house, you know, the next year, that's okay. But I certainly wouldn't be putting it on a credit card, not clothes. And if I want something more substantial, I'll buy a decent piece that's going to last.
$2 with twice the price, almost,
than the
Walmart brand, but the fit is amazing. And they also have a little bit of poly in them. They're not all cotton. I never buy 100% cotton. They're too heavy. They shrink. They're hot. They're thick. No. These are so soft and thin. So away we go. And these shorts here, these bloomers, these loud John Elway board shorts. This brand, which is called, what's it called? Hanson something? Oh, darn it. Forgot the name already, but I'll know when I see it. I'm going to buy every pair they got. $15 or $16. And when I rang it up, it said $3 off or $2 off or something. These are $50, $55 board shorts at a surf shop. You go to Macy's, Dillard's, Alvin's Island's even gotten really expensive now with, you know, like Hurley and Quicksilver. And
oh, gosh. I think half of those surf brands have gone under now, Tim, just to be honest. Sadly, for those surf brands. I think some of them folded up from what I've understood. I think Quicksilver has. I know a lot about those surf companies. And Tim, those are why are you talking about like surf brands that people were wearing in the early 2000s and late 90s? Because those are the surf brands I used to wear. But that was 20, 30 years ago. Now if I'm going to wear a surf brand, Tim, I wear Outerknown, which is a far more classy surf brand. If you really want to wear some classy surfer clothes, go to Outerknown. But Tim would never want to pay for Outerknown.
And those brands, and
just cheap stuff all the time.
You get 3 pair for what one of those board shorts costs. It's summer. I'm loading up, and And these t-shirts, I'm going to live in them, even though they don't have a collar. And I bought a bunch of those Walmart Ben Hogan golf shirts, which I have a whole closet full and will still wear, you know, when I want a collar. They're nice. They're nice. Cheap. Ben Hogan. I've got, the only thing I've got that's expensive, very expensive, is shoes. And I've got a pair of Skechers that weren't that cheap. They were $50, and they still don't measure up to a...
No, I have Tim at 1.5, just to speed him up to get through this video. He talks much slower, I promise. It also makes him look a little bit hyper. And it's one of the videos he did not like me putting out, was one of his hyper voices. So that's the one he struck one of my hyper voice videos. You know I was being naughty, but you know, Tim still wants to poke me. I'm the bear he's poking.
A Cloud or a Nike,
love it, Tim.
Or a Brooks or an Asics or something like that.
Oh.
So I will always spend, I mean, they got Nikes for $200. I'm not going to do that. 150 is like plenty.
Tim won't buy Skechers. I mean, Tim is just, this is why you would never own a home, Tim. You wouldn't be able to shop like this unless you had everything paid off. I'm like sitting in the same scrubs I've had for years. I'm like literally online. But I just find it funny that like Tim just spends so much money on shoes and clothes. Like he is literally getting like, I know he says these running shoes don't work out, but if you go to not a Dick's, but like a running store and get properly fitted and all this stuff, they have great return policies and stuff. And they'll keep letting you bring back shoes until you get the pair and the brand that works for you. But they would be driven nuts by somebody like Tim. They'd probably ban him from the store because he's just, and then he throws them in the washing machine and then he wants his money back. And, you know, after he's worn them and washed them and used them and torn up the laces, he wants his money back. Go figure.
You know, plenty.
He wonders why I make.
You can buy Clouds for 150 to 160.
And then you wonder why I make commentary. And stop dry begging for your audience to keep buying you running shoes. Nobody thinks you're jogging. Shoot, Tim, I've had the same running shoes forever. I've had the same work shoes for like too many years now. I actually literally do need a new pair of work shoes. But every time I try to get extra money, Tim, I got to get an attorney. So I can't with you.
70 anywhere all day. And I do resell for a fraction of what I gave my collection. I actually sold a couple of pair just this last week. So I've got a little rebate there. So I'm working it out. I got it all going. It's all the minimalist. It's all about the minimalism that I incorporate in my life.
I'm sure he is. I can't even keep his. Hey,
so,
David, come on in.
I was reading the comments, and some of you are going to get the bacon there at Aldi. Some of you are going to get the screwdriver set. Some of you are going to pick up some Black Sabbath. What is it, Alexa? Some of you are going to pick up the Black Sabbath ribeyes.
You keep an eye, Catherine.
Now listen to me. I'm going to be very honest. I've had more luck than bad luck, but I got a bad one.
No, you got to keep an eye on the chat.
Not good. Not good. Also, update, review, no good. Everything has been better than the BJ's ribeyes I bought for $35. Or, no, it was more than that. No, it was $35 for the two or something. I don't know what it was. But I bought...
he's not using the e-bike money for the attorney. Who knows what he used the e-bike money for? Maybe to pay the credit card for the teeth? What happened to the other teeth, too? This is what I want to know. Didn't he say he was getting like 5 or 6 more crowns and night guard? And Tim, I'm so glad that you used the thing I said about the windshield as part of your content. How is your windshield $1,800? You need to address this in the video. I know you want original manufactured equipment. I understand that. I don't know if that's because you don't want your car to look as though it's had a dent. I guess it's chipped too much just to repair the chip. Because it looked pretty bad. Like it wasn't going to be just filled in with resin by the Safe Light people. So I guess they told you you're going to have to spring for a new windshield. I don't know.
Those, I thought they were filet mignons. These little things called center cut tenderloin medallion. Tender medallion, not tenderloin. They were not filet mignon. I saw tender, and I figured it was filet mignon. And even the guy cashed me out said, "Oh, great deal on that. That's normally $20, $22 a pound." Do not buy.
Yeah.
Put them on the grill today. Didn't make a video. Ate them. Edible, but not what a carnivore guy looking to buy.
No.
I want a juicy, tender ribeye or filet mignon. Period. The end. There is nothing else. No chuck eyes, no medallion tenders. None of these things are going to cut it with me anymore. I'm all done.
Oh, yes.
And those burgers that came in the brown packaging, TRD bought them. Somebody else.
And thank you so much for your generosity, Lee. And it's so good to see you in the chat. You have a fantastic evening. You snuggle up with that little puppy of yours. Mine's snoring over here. I still got one more walk. We're not going to be much more long. We're not going to be much later. But yeah, we're going to be ending it by 9:30 tonight. We's going to be respectful of everybody's time.
Sent me a picture. They got them, and there's a couple of different meat mixtures they use. Some's got brisket. Mine was prime chuck. Those 100% endorsement. After I got those little medallion steaks the other day, I put those two burgers that weren't from that I didn't eat. It was a 4-pack on the grill and ate them with Worcestershire and Redmond salt, and they were amazing. Well, one guy wrote in comments that he bought them and they weren't amazing. Well, maybe you got the one that's got the brisket. Maybe you got the one that I got and the brisket's better. I haven't tried it yet. You got the prime chuck, and there's another brand, another mixture they got. Maybe you got that one. Well, you say they were good, but they weren't the best you ever had in your life. Maybe you're new here too.
Somebody new on Tim's channel. There has been some new people recently, all going for first and second, and some other people just gone. Pity Power gone. Do you remember we had the poll, like, who would be the next to come out? But they just disappeared. Pity Power. We haven't seen Pity Power in forever. Pity Power gone.
And you don't understand. But anyway, I totally endorse those. I mean, I would rather eat a dang good hamburger over a steak that's chewy all day. And so that's my review on those medallion tenderloin.
Great. We love it. It's car reviews. I love it how you count with your fingers as the car is moving. Safety first, Tim.
Medallion, whatever they were. I got a pack left.
Oh, he said,
and they're in the freezer. I don't know when and if. They make great stew and that kind of thing. Someone Googled them and said they're great on the grill. I mean, I will cut them again. Cook them again. This guy's trying to get this guy. Let me in. I will cook them again and eat them because I'm a dog. But this dog is getting very, very particular.
Okay, Tim, keep going.
So I just want good. That's all. If I'm not going to buy the vegetables and all them other things that I used to buy and treats and carbs and chips and all them things, sodas, I can spend a few more dollars and have my one time a day, good steak meal. In the morning, I got my eggs. During the day, I got my eggs, boiled egg, snacks. I got my bacon in the morning. And I got plenty of hamburger. Oh, and that fish, I already said it this morning in another video. Bubba said, yeah, don't be afraid to get that frozen, what do you call, wild caught. So I'll do that. I'll buy those next. Damn, salmon's good. I love salmon. So there's a favorite. I don't hear him talk about fish much on carnivore. It's all about meat, but I'm sure it's all right. So salmon, I got pork chop in the refrigerator, and
3 times the speed.
And I'm just not going to buy any more steak that's not really good. I know the filet mignon is.
Tim, is this all you talk about at the end of this video? Is about your steaks? If that's the case, we're going to talk about the poll where you talk about your windshields real quick then, because that's 688 views in 2 hours. You need to kick it up, Tim. Yeah, I know. I'm still out here being irritating as heck and loving your content. Now, I'm just curious as to why your windshield is going to cost so much money. I think it was in this one, wasn't it? Was it the starting the day? Was this the one? Let me see.
But a masseuse?
Oh, masseuse. Hold on. Let me find the word. Windshield. Let me see if it's this one. Is it this one? Nope. Okay. Let me go back to the next one then. It must be this one. Is this the one where he talks about a windshield? No? Just the word wind? One of these. Do you remember, anybody remember which video it was that Tim went on about the windshield on? I know it was one of these videos today. Was it this one? No, it was one when he was driving. I thought it was this one that he talked about right here at the beginning of this one. I thought he went on about the windshield. Let me check the transcript. Hold on, guys. He talked about not remembering his trash. All right, let me see. Real fast. For some reason, oh, here we go. How are you not finding the word windshield, wind search? Okay, so here we go. All right, so he goes on about, this is when he starts talking about the windshield. Okay. All right. So see if this makes sense to you guys, okay? All right, let me slow him down a little bit to 1.25 because he's a little fast. Okay. All right, we'll play a little bit of this and we'll finish it out.
All right. So I called the windshield place. Just got off the phone with them. They came recommended by the people over at Honda of Sarasota. And he was very nice and answered at least a dozen questions I had. I'm so particular, I want to make sure. So here's how it goes. Insurance companies are not going to pay. They will pay, but you got to request it and see if they'll approve it.
Huh?
OEM windshields. The company that they use make the windshield for Honda. It's just that it won't have an H or say Honda on.
Has anybody heard of that? I just get the people to get the windshield. Oh, yeah. Well, I think we're trying to figure out, Tim, how this thing with the windshield worked out, because I've replaced numerous windshields in my car under my insurance and never seemed to be all this. So just saying. Are you out of here, Catherine? Are you out, Miss Catherine? It's hey, enjoy the prison job. But just saying, we're trying to figure this out. Look, we gotta figure this one out. All right, let's keep going. He dropped his full coverage on his car when he paid it off. Well, that's not smart. You should at least keep at least some basic coverage. I mean, if it's a new car like that, I would still keep full coverage for a while, for at least 5 years on a new car. On a new car, I'd keep full coverage for a while. If it's brand new, even if it's paid off, I would want to keep it just in case anything were to happen.
On the bottom of the windshield. Otherwise, the black border, all the cutouts, the calibration, yada, yada, yada. Everything they do will be, aftermarket, but it'll be guaranteed for life. Now, they're a mom and pop organization, so, your guarantee is only good when you're in this area. But I had one replaced before by Safelite. I never had an issue with it. But when I asked how much it is, he said the windshield is $1,000 to $1,200 for the windshield itself. And then it's about $1,800. That's a lot of labor, isn't it? $1,500, $1,800, something like it, he told me. That's kind of, really up there. I had no idea. I thought maybe $500-600 for a piece of.
1,800? Is this because he doesn't have insurance? I mean, even when I feel like I'm trying to think. When I had a car that was paid off and I had just, insurance that wasn't the full comprehensive, but, just the other type of coverage, basic coverage covering more the other driver than my car. At least the windshield was always covered to a certain extent for chips and stuff and for, out-of-pocket deductible. Is your deductible $1,800, Tim? Or is it because you're saying you want OEM? Just seems strange.
Piece of glass.
I don't know.
So what's got some cutouts.
I would like to.
The cameras aren't going to be replaced.
Yeah,
it's just so it can see through. And they make millions of these, so why so expensive? But it is what it is. So anyway, I have to give the VIN number of the car, my Geico policy number, and they can check to see if Geico will go OEM for me. If not, or they may charge me a difference from what they're willing to pay, and I pay the difference. You know what I mean? There's not supposed to be any cost for these kinds of things. So I will check first to see if they will. I get the original equipment. But if it's a windshield they don't make glass. at the Honda manufacturing company. A lot of things they don't make that they put in these cars. They are made by somebody else. They stick their name on it. Battery.
Well, it is very expensive to have that calibration done, because I remember seeing when I had my car get hit by a rock heading to the Outer Banks in North Carolina, and coming off the Chesapeake, coming out of Chesapeake down to the Outer Banks. Anyway, I obviously had full comprehensive insurance, and I just remember I only had to pay whatever the deductible, whatever the windshield. Wasn't much. But it was hard to do during the pandemic. But I remember seeing the price of that calibration and everything, and it certainly wasn't cheap. So, but is he not got insurance? Just don't understand.
Batteries, tires, windshields, apparently are all things made by outsourcing. I don't know if you knew that or not. Most people do. So I get that. So it's not really original equipment. You're just going to get one that says Honda on them. I wonder if it's going to do anything to my Carfax, because everything you do to your car through insurance, even a touch-up, is recorded. It's on your credit report. It's on the Carfax, what we have in Florida. So if you go to trade it in, or if somebody wants to buy it.
So is this why Tim's trying to skew the insurance process? That's the time they'll use the word askew, Tim.
Private party, they can run a Carfax check to see if it's ever been in an accident. Now, while that is easy to overcome and explain that a rock hit your windshield, you had a chip, and you got it replaced, but some people might think, oh, you got leaks, wind noise, what's the problem? I think that's the least of anybody's worries. At least this guy convinced me of it. They don't come out like Safe Light and use the little arm and move it over and stick some little super glue on there and stick it in your car. They probably do the same thing, but you go there. They don't have mobile, probably because they're just a mom and pop place. Probably do the same thing. They don't just hold it and lift it over there. They use a device. But their installation and what the glass company they use is not an inferior glass from China. That I did confirm. So if I don't get OEM and I get aftermarket, I'm getting it from the company that built it for Honda. And I'm in no hurry to do this. I really am not, because I got so many other things I want to do right now. But I'm not going to put it off like long. So I'll get it done. Let's play some Narcissist.
Oh no, what's
in here? I need to spray some in my
Oh my gosh, guys. And that will be a perfect place to end this stream tonight, is with Tim spraying Narcissist on himself. And God saw that, Tim. And I am trying to figure out, and VN etching on the windshield. Susan says the cost of the windshield would be under comprehension on his insurance policy. He may not have comprehensive coverage on his policy. Well, I thought so, but I've never known, even if you have it with a deductible, wouldn't it be you would just pay, like you would have it on your insurance and then just pay a deductible? Like, say, for example, your deductible was $500 and you had just the other type. Wouldn't you pay just the $500 if it was the full windshield? See, I've always had like newer cars and I always have like full coverage. I just don't mess. I promise you that full coverage, when I've had some, like I had a pretty crazy thing happen with my windshield last year. I promise you it was wild. I think it was potentially like 2 little bullets. Like literally like 2 little bullets hit the front of my windshield. It's a crazy story. And they got into the dashboard and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I was driving down in a state here in Virginia Beach. Wild story, guys. Anyway, it was, I do remember that sort of stuff. It was, it was under my insurance and I only had to pay, and I had a lot of repairs on that vehicle, all sorts of crazy stuff. And I only had to pay whatever my deductible was. I didn't have to pay like $1,800 or $1,200. So what is his deductible? Now, I have been told that when I've used somebody on my fully comprehensive insurance, say, for example, I wanted to use the smaller company to do my windshield repair, and I had the $100, which was the, allowable amount. Now, if I had used SafeLight, it just would have gone directly to SafeLight from my insurance agency. And, I wouldn't have played like middleman for paying. But because I used a smaller company, they still only charged the $100. So I wasn't having to pay anything out of pocket. And I just sent the receipt to my insurance company, and literally within a day, they actually had given me the $100 for that insurance claim before the money even got out of my bank account. So it went that fast. So I didn't have anything out of pocket on that at all. And so the other would be a deductible, I would have thought. And so if he even had $1,000 deductible, that, and those windshields were 600 or 1,600 or 1,800, that would be 600 or 800 that would be covered then by the insurance. And then he would only be out of his deductible. And then whatever additional potentially that he wants to pay from the, it being original, which may be more than the deductible. I don't get it. We're going to end it right here. Mr. M says, OMG, he's lying about the insurance coverage. I know, $1,800. RH says, okay, we're going to end it because I've got very little time left on this stream. Don't think he has contacted insurance company yet. Yeah, it just seems weird. Just seems really weird. And I almost wonder if he doesn't want it reported on his insurance, and then so it doesn't affect what he thinks is an insurance premium. But I don't think the windshield thing does that. I've never noticed like anything necessarily crazy. I don't know. So maybe that's why he's wanting to do it with, just a guy. But Tim hasn't kind of figured out that these new cars are very expensive with all these cameras and stuff. So it's not like the old days where they just threw it up a glass windshield. There was no cameras and calibration and all this stuff. You can't have a car like that and then pop in a cheap windshield. You're just going to have to take the hit on the Carfax and the insurance and everything else. This is life, Tim. It's life. All right, guys, you were fantastic. I want to thank everybody for their generosity. And there was lots of generosity, so much generosity. Oh, we're going to be paying for this attorney. So I am excited about that, guys. And I'm excited. And thank you, Jay, and everybody for your generosity. He's absolutely begging. He's got Geico. Well, Geico is good. Geico is good insurance. When I've been hit by people with Geico, I always was well taken care of. I promise you, their repair shop was right down the road from me. All right, guys, it's been fun. It's been fantastic, but we are going to end it here. And we'll see you on